Well, good afternoon, everyone. And once again, welcome to another live here and hope you're having a great start to your day. Let me flip this around. And there it is. Okay, let's say hello to a few folks and hi to who's number one on the hit parade this afternoon. As you get your notifications, guys, I don't see any names yet, but let me just see here. Is that right? Okay. I just want to see. I'm not getting anybody coming on. Okay, there they go. Can you guys just give me a thumbs up if you can hear me and see me properly here? Okay, Terry, how are you? Victoria, I know a few names came by. Lisette, everything good? Okay, Nick from our staff. Okay, you see me. And Georgie, Halifax, Nova Scotia. Okay, I'm good. Okay, you can hear me and see me. Somehow I can't see myself too well today. Wendy, how are you? Jeanette from our staff, Nativity. Good to have you on this afternoon. Okay, and Doc McEwen. Lisa Marie, how are you? Everything's good. Good to have you guys on. Claudette, Bonnie, Minnesota. And Betty Lynn, how are you? Catherine, Parksville, British Columbia. And Fran from Tilsonburg, how are you? Georgie, Halifax. Or did I say hello already? Karen, Coldwater. And I can't see. It goes up into the clouds there. Margie, sunny and warm, Kansas. Anne Marie, how are you? Judy, okay. Brahim, there's my buddy from Portland, Oregon. Darlene, and nah, I can't see it. I can't see it. Giselle, a couple of more. Vince. Guys, I'm not going to spend too much time because I can't see half of them. I don't know if that's me or is it, I don't know. Kathy, Mary, Cloudy, PEI, Diane, Saskatchewan, and Wanda from Virginia. Okay, now, okay. What I want to do today, this afternoon, I want to talk to you about life expectancy, okay? Life expectancy. Now, this is a rule of thumb. This comes out of the Bible. 70 is 70, plus 10 is 80. Okay? That's life expectancy right now. We're in about, I think, about 80 for women and about 78 for men, if I'm not mistaken. And it may be a little bit less for men on average, okay? But I'm not talking about so much about just general life expectancy. I want to bring you three things that will determine, well, let me rephrase that. Three things that are really good indicators of life expectancy. Guys, we all agree on this. There's no guarantees in life, okay? I mean, there are taxes and death. Like, you know, those are guaranteed. No, but you know what I'm saying by that, okay? Always exceptions. But insurance companies, guys, are the best at this. Insurance companies, okay? I've talked to executives at insurance companies. And man, one thing they're good at is statistics. They can tell you from year to year how many people die, how many people died of cancer, how many people died of heart disease, they're the best. They keep records and because the amount of money they put out depends on it. The risk factors depend on it, okay? So they're really good at that. And I want to talk to you about three things that will increase your life expectancy according to new research, okay? 3 things. There's probably a few more. For example, if you talk to an insurance company, the first thing they're going to ask you is about whether you smoke or not. Are you a smoker? Obviously, if you're a smoker, the insurance companies are going to rate that. Okay? Are you a smoker? Now, one thing that they want to know, insurance companies, is whether you're on any medications for high blood pressure. Now, here's the recent statistics interesting about high blood pressure. If you have high blood pressure, okay, it is going to decrease your life expectancy. As a matter of fact, here's what this study said. You will live 5 years longer if your blood pressure is between 120 over 80, okay? Your systolic, diastolic blood pressure, 120 over 80. They didn't just make that up, by the way. Sometimes I don't like numbers, because I'm not interested. You tell me your total cholesterol, who cares? It really doesn't mean anything. But this study has shown that if your blood pressure is within normal limits, and here's how I measure blood pressure, guys, okay? If your second number is not over 90, you don't have dangerous high blood pressure. It's that second number is such a key, in my opinion. Okay? Just all the experience, anything I've ever read, you keep that second number below 90. Okay? Now, I'm talking about, a lot of people, they're on, and it's one of the most prescribed medication is blood pressure medication. And there's a new study out on that too, which isn't all that great. Not in terms of your cognitive. So the very thing that keeps your blood pressure down, one of the side effects of that is cognitive decline. Okay? So, I'm not telling you, okay? Excuse me. I'm never going to tell you not to take your medication. Okay? I'm not doing that. All I'm saying is, if you can get your blood pressure in that normal range, 120 over 80, your life expectancy, according to recent studies, will increase by 5 years. By 5 years. Guys, one of the reasons that we do the reset is fantastic for blood pressure. And the reason that happens is not only that you're lowering insulin. One of the things that destroys blood vessels more than anything else, what is so toxic for blood vessels? Sugar. Not salt, sugar. They always blame salt for what sugar does. What will elevate your blood pressure is not salt. And look, the only way you can elevate your blood pressure with salt is if you don't drink any water, if you're dehydrated. Okay, it all has to do with the viscosity of your blood. One of the most important vitamins for blood pressure is vitamin W, water. Okay, remember that. Water. Simply drinking 2 liters, 64 ounces of water for most people will lower their blood pressure. Now, it's not the only thing. The other one is when you cut out sugar. You cut out sugar, how many thousands of my patients, thousands of them, were able to control their blood pressure by getting on the reset, getting off sugar, eating low carb, making it a lifestyle, and their blood pressure, it was amazing what used to happen. They were shocked by it because no one ever told them that food, and especially eating crappy carbohydrates, had anything to do with their blood pressure. Okay? So, drink water, cut out the sugar, and eat very low carb. And start off by doing the reset. There's nothing better for you than lowering your insulin resistance. Okay, so the first thing this is just stats, guys. Okay, I remember taking a course in school on statistics. I hated it. It wasn't my cup of tea. And it's amazing now how much I love statistics. No, but when I read this, I just, you know what? If you want to live, my goal is not quantity, okay? My goal is not quantity, it's quality, okay? I'm not that big in quantity, but insurance companies are. And they're telling us that blood pressure within normal limits will add 5 years to your life, okay? According to them, and they bet their lives on, they bet their bottom dollar on this stuff, okay? All the risks are taken in before insurance company. They know the risks and they are so good at statistics. Okay, so that's number one, okay? Now, number two, and this is brand new, hot off the presses, guys. Okay. Now, this is not coming from the insurance company. This is coming from a mega study of studies. It is saying, okay, so one of them is blood pressure. The second one will maybe surprise you. Okay. It did and it didn't surprise me. I never thought of life expectancy with this one as much as I knew it was good for your health big time. And you know me, I've been talking about this forever. You know what it is? Omega-3. Do you know that they can actually measure your omega-3 levels? I can't wait till the day that it becomes part of standard blood testing. They can actually measure your omega-3 levels in your blood. And here's the research, okay? Omega-3 were as good predictor of mortality, such as risk factors as smoking and diabetes. Now, we all know if you smoke, we talked about that, your life expectancy is going down. It's just simple as that. If you're, and they're saying such risk factors as smoking and diabetes. Now, guys, what is my expression about diabetes? It never ends well. Diabetes just doesn't end well. Diabetes, remember, before you are a diabetic effectively, years and years and years before you got the diagnosis. Last week I wasn't a diabetic. My blood sugar, I took it. It was within normal limits. And this week I took it and it's high. And my doctor now says I'm a diabetic. Nah, it doesn't work like that, guys. Diabetes takes a long time. Okay? And in our last webinar that we did, and we really went into a deep dive on this, your body would rather have anything, rather than have high blood sugar. Okay? So you can see why diabetes is such a risk factor. Your body knows that sugar is so toxic. It will do everything it can to keep your sugars down. Your sugar can't stay in the bloodstream. If you were to empty your 5 liters of blood, you'd have a teaspoon, if you're lucky. Everything you own in your body fights high blood sugar. Okay? And diabetes is the last thing to happen. Not the first thing. It's the last thing. So, listen to this, okay? Let me read the title or the opening paragraph of this study on omega-3. Omega-3 levels in your blood were as good a predictor of mortality as such risk factors as smoking and diabetes. I never thought I'd ever read that ever anywhere. It surprised me. You know me and omega-3, okay? I love omega-3. I love DHA. I love animal DHA and EPA, and especially DHA. I've been preaching DHA omega-3 for 50 years, guys. 50 years. And if you give me another, no, you ain't going to get another 50 years out of me. Okay? But as long as I'm alive, as long as I have breath in my lungs, I will be preaching to you the importance of omega-3. Anti-inflammatory, very, very, very important in terms of lubrication. It will keep your blood vessels from stickiness. You're going to get a lubrication. Okay? You need lubrication in your car. You need lubrication in your blood vessels, and there's nothing better than omega-3. And almost every doctor that I've ever talked to, knows the importance of omega-3. Now, they don't talk about it too much, but they'll tell you, oh, if I had to take a supplement, I guess I'd take omega-3. Not that they take a lot of supplements. You can't get enough, you couldn't eat enough fish, in my opinion, to get the omega-3 you should. But anyway, omega-3, okay? Omega-3 were as good as predictor of mortality as such risk factors as smoking and diabetes. Man, oh man. And that's why one of my five supplements is supplementing, and I do it every day, with omega-3 and especially DHA. Because I want lubrication up in the brain. And your brain is made up of DHA. Anyway, another risk factor. Here's one. This one will not surprise you if you've been following me for any length of time. Okay? This one won't surprise you. If I did a test and I gave you multiple choice and I put this one in there, you would all get it. Okay? Okay. When it comes to mortality, when it comes to predicting mortality, and you're not going to hear this almost anywhere else, but it is so obvious that it's crazy. And that is this. If you have healthy levels of vitamin D, all-cause mortality goes down. If you have healthy levels of vitamin D, you want to live longer? The sun. The sun. Vitamin D. Listen to this. Now, by the way, this is in Sun, Steak, and Steel. Okay? This is in Sun Steak and Steel. Vitamin D and all-cause mortality. Listen to this. If you have healthy levels of vitamin D, let me give you what that is, okay? In the United States, just think of numbers, okay? I like over 60 in the United States. I want you to optimize your vitamin D. In Canada, it ought to be somewhere between a minimum of 150 to, you could go 250. Optimal levels of vitamin D. Listen to what the statistics are. It's incredible. Okay? You would think with these statistics, if it wasn't so much against the narrative, and I think if insurance companies, if there was any common sense with insurance companies, they would insist on blood tests when they are checking you out for insurance. And, they do blood tests and you know what? Here's what disqualifies you. Just about. Are you going to pay a heavy premium? Diabetes. Smoking. We talked about that. You think omega-3 will come on their radar, even though it's shown that healthy levels of omega-3 are as predictive for your health as smoking and diabetes? If you have healthy levels of omega-3, you're in good shape. That's what this mega study has said. Here's another one. Vitamin D. Vitamin D. You know how many seniors that I know? Okay? How many seniors that were tested? Tens and tens of thousands over the years in my clinic. And you know what we found? Seniors were extremely low in vitamin D. Anyone with dark skin, Indians, natives, and African Americans, extremely low in vitamin D. But any senior was low in vitamin D. I rarely ever saw someone that had optimized vitamin D levels over 50 years old. They just didn't. Scared skinny of the sun. And listen to this, guys. Shocking. And will insurance companies pick this up, even though it's well established? Probably not. You would think they do it because it's all about the bottom line for them is dollars. Here's what this says. If you have healthy levels of vitamin D, meaning optimized, over 60, 150 to 250 in Canada, all cancers are decreased by 75%. It's almost impossible for someone to get cancer if they have optimized levels of vitamin D. Guys, that's a huge statement. And cancer is worse today than ever. And people are they made the sun the boogeyman, so people don't get sun. They don't get enough of it. And good luck if you live in spite of climate change. Oh, I get a headache when I think about that. You know what I remember about school, high school? I majored in recess, but you know what I remember? Carbon was actually good for the environment. Plants needed carbon dioxide. True or false? Anyway, okay, I don't want to get into it. All cancers decrease by 75%. Now, what else in the world can give you that kind of statistic? If you have optimized levels of vitamin D, your risk of cancer down by 75%. Oh yeah, Dr. Martin, I might get skin cancer. Yeah, I guess if you burn, but the aggressive melanoma is caused by a lack of sun. Not too much sun, a lack of it. That them there are the facts, ma'am. And I know it'll never be part of a narrative. It just, when you say a lie long enough, it just sort of sticks like glue, doesn't it? They've been saying that since I was a kid. Skin cancer, and you're gonna wrinkle up like a prune if you get sun. It's insanity. And anyway, you guys know better. 75% decrease in your risk of any cancer. Name the cancer, any of it, if you have optimized levels of vitamin D. Don't you think that the governments should be paying for you to have your vitamin D levels checked? Don't you think? Like, I know in Canada, especially, I can't tell you the rest of Canada. I can tell you Ontario. They don't want to do vitamin D. It costs too much money. And what do you want to know your vitamin D levels for? Because I want to know if going to get cancer or not. 75% decrease in your risk of any type of cancer if you have optimized level of vitamin D. Listen to this. Male heart attacks. Okay, the headline is optimized levels of vitamin D. Male heart attacks down 50%. Come on, guys. There ain't a pill in the world can give you that kind of protection. Male heart attacks down 50%. Type 2 diabetes down 50% with let me just say this. I talked to Tony Jr. about it, and we sort of, we talked about the biomarkers for metabolic syndrome. And you know what? I keep forgetting, and Tony Jr. and I talked about it the other day. He said, Dad, I forgot, you forgot. I sort of forgot to mention vitamin D. It's the chicken or the egg. I don't know which one comes first. But if you have low levels of vitamin D, your risk for type 2 diabetes, which is sugar diabetes, is up 50%. If you have diabetes, almost invariably, you're going to have low levels of vitamin D. It's essential, even in metabolic syndrome. 93% of the population have have metabolic syndrome, and over 80%, probably closer to 90-something%, do not have optimized levels of vitamin D. It's even higher than that. I talked to a physician the other day, and he said, I never see people ever have good levels of vitamin D, rarely. And he says, I get angry with them because it's so simple to elevate your levels of vitamin D. If you can't get in the sun, just take vitamin D as a supplement. Oh, Dr. Martin, what if I take more than 1,000 international units of vitamin D? What could happen to me? Most seniors only take 1,000 international units of vitamin D. That's enough no, it's not even a mouse that will benefit from 1,000 IUs of vitamin D. Remember when they did the numbers of vitamin D, they made a mistake. They calculated wrong. It was bad math, and people died. Low levels of vitamin D High levels of vitamin D optimize. Male heart attacks down 50%. Type 2 diabetes down 50%. Type 1, listen to this. Type 1 diabetes, autoimmune, down 80% if they have optimized levels of vitamin D. It should be part of our DNA, taking vitamin D. And all autoimmune diseases down 20%. Guys, incredible. Okay, let me do a little quick recap. Okay? This one coming out of the insurance industry, the first one. If your blood pressure is within normal limits, you can expect to live another 5 years more than the average person. 1. 2. Omega-3 levels are as good as an indicator. If you can get your omega-3 levels up in your blood, it is as good as an indicator of diabetes or smoking. It's so good for you. Okay? 2. And 3, vitamin D. Vitamin D. All-cause mortality goes down. All-cause mortality. There's nothing like vitamin D. And that's why, just to end, that's why when Linus Pauling, Linus Pauling, smart guy, won a Nobel Prize on his work and research on vitamin C, I said, you only missed by one vitamin, by one letter in the alphabet. You missed out on vitamin D. He was talking about ascorbic acid. Now, if he had been talking about coffee, I would have given him a Nobel Prize in medicine. Okay? Okay, I think I can breathe now. Okay, guys, we love you dearly, love you sincerely. And we got a morning session coming tomorrow. So, and Friday is what? Question and answer Friday. Guys, we love you so much. Thanks for making the Doctor Is In podcast the #1 health podcast in Canada. And we want to make it the #1 health podcast in the United States. And now with over 4 million downloads. Thank you, guys. That's you. My audience, thank you. Share this. It's important news, isn't it? Talk to you soon.